Hi, today we're going to review the Fortinet Security Fabric. Fortinet likes to define three types of firewalls depending to the role and their position on their network. The first one is the next generation firewall. It's going to be our first wall of protections against attacks, and it's also going to provide internet access to our infrastructure. The second one, depending on your size, is going to be a data center firewall. This one is going to usually be the bigger firewalls with more throughput and more capacity, so we can have high-speed connectivity between locations. And finally, the internet segmentation firewall, the internal segmentation firewall, is going to be the closest to the user and is going to track and know which users and devices are connected to our network. If we go back to our demo computer, I just wanted to show you a quick representation of what Fortinet tries to demonstrate with this. By having a tier infrastructure, the lower tier devices and firewalls are going to be the ones closer to the users, the devices, and our servers. Just because in this situation, in this example, we only have two locations, there's no data center firewall, but the same rule apply. The higher you go in the tier, then it will apply for those particular roles. And finally, the ones that is going to connect us with the outside world is going to be your firewall, your next generation firewall. If we go back to the slides, a few of the key features of the security fabric is the enhanced visibility, since all the devices in our security fabric communicate with each other and they're integrated and correlated all their logs by using FortiAnalyzer. Is going to have a lot of automation based on all that information we are collecting, and the unified management will help us since we can control multiple devices and multiple elements of our security fabric from a central location. The security fabric is going to be scalable, aware, secure, actionable, and open. It's going to be scalable because it will allow us to grow horizontally by adding more devices, or we can increase the capacity of these devices to allow higher and more demanding workloads in our environment. It's also going to be aware, since we know exactly which users and devices are getting connected to our environment. We're going to know what's happening and we can apply actions accordingly. Is going to be secure as one of the fundamental pillars of Fortinet, and by us understanding what devices and users are connecting to our network, how are they using our infrastructure, we can apply the correct security policies to it. It's going to be actionable because from end to end, we're going to know what devices, what traffic is across our network, and from end to end, we have control of all that. Therefore, we can apply the correct policies in each case. And finally, it's going to be open. It is going to be open because Fortinet is really proud of all the APIs they have developed in their products, and multiple companies and us can use those APIs so we can have a better understanding of our security fabric and additional interactions with them. If we go to our demo computer, we can see all the different companies that have integrations with Fortinet. They have listed over here. We can go and check them out and understand what other products they are providing that will integrate seamlessly with our security fabric. Go back to the slides. The security fabric is going to use the FortiTelemetry protocol, which uses the port TCP/8013 for communication between all the devices in our security fabric. The central management database is going to be a collection of elements that the root FortiGate is going to push down to all the downstream firewalls in order to have some cohesive policies and a central point for all our objects. If we go back to our demo computer, the central management database is going to list all these it was going to allow all these different elements and objects to be synchronize across our security fabric from the root FortiGate. We can synchronize addresses for IPv6, address groups, service groups, schedules. Therefore, all that information can be configured once and then just pushed to all our elements. So over here, I have a small demo that I'll keep reusing over and over throughout the course. This FortiGate, I need to change the labels, but this is branch A. It's connected to the HQ, cancel. And of this one on the right is going to be the branch B, the same way I have them over here on my tabs. HQ is going to be the root FortiGate for our infrastructure. And if we go under policy and objects and addresses, for example, I already have one. The fabric address is a random object I created just a second ago that's being synced to the security fabric. If I go to branch A, go to the same addresses, I can see that that object is also there. If I want to interact with the object, I can only see it because this is a fabric object. So therefore, branch A doesn't have any control over it. It's coming from the root FortiGate, so I can only see it. I cannot edit, I cannot clone it. The same will go for branch B. If I go to addresses, that's also being propagated and I can see it, but I cannot interact with it. So if I come here and just for laziness, I will just clone it. And I have a clone, which is also going to be pushed to the security fabric. If I'm going to clone that again, actually, let's call it, yeah, it's fine. Not to worry about it. And as soon as we move to branch A, if the synchronizations has been done, which I already did, we can see those objects were pushed to our other firewalls with us doing any interactions. And now I can use these objects to create our policies, and I can have that control from a central location. So this is very helpful and powerful when we want to standardize access. Maybe we have a group of allow IPs that we want to have for management, or maybe we have a set of groups that are going to, users, I should say, that is going to be for access. So we can control that, create that object once and use it multiple times. Go back to the slides. The security fabric is going to be a range of variety of devices that can be integrated into it, and especially with all the devices that, I'm sorry, all the products that we can have from all the other vendors. But there are two devices that are mandatory in a security fabric, the FortiGate firewall and the FortiAnalyzer. But all the other products from Fortinet can very easily be integrated in security fabric, like the FortiAP, FortiSwitch, FortiClient if you do VPNs or endpoint management, the FortiSandbox, FortiMail. I'm going to share all the links I show you today with the lesson notes. And if we go back to the demo slides, you can get additional information of all those devices from Fortinet that can be added to the security fabric. Remember, the FortiAnalyzer and the FortiGate firewall are the mandatory elements, but everything else can be easily added there. Also, this link I really like because it not only mentions all the devices that can be added to a security fabric depending on a particular version. Some products were not supported on earlier versions, but later on they are. And from these easy documents, we can start understanding and connecting all those elements to our security fabric. How can we add a FortiSIEM? How can we add the FortiNAC to the security fabric? Those documents is like very easy instructions to follow so we can enhance our security fabric. Go back to the slides. Finally, FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer, we'll keep talking about those devices throughout the course, and we're going to also look at them. But just keep in mind that they are coming from the same, they look similar, although they work differently, and that's because they come from the same base code. If you're using at least a virtual one, during installation, you can pick which flavor you want. So that's why all the similarities between those devices. So don't forget all the different roles a firewall can have in our infrastructure depending on their location: next generation firewall, data center firewall, segmentation firewall, the security fabric protocol for the telemetry, TCP 8013, and all the multiple devices that can be added to our security fabric.